Welcome to this workshop. The topic is tips and strategies for cracking reading comprehension in ICET. Okay, so all of you here are ICET aspirants. I will not get into a very elaborate introduction now because we have already lost a lot of time and I don't want to keep you waiting. Let me quickly ask you, are there any pressing concerns or doubts that you have regarding reading comprehension? You can unmute or put it in the chat box super quick in 2 minutes so that I can cover them too in my session. Okay, I have put some tips here on my slide. Just let's take a couple of minutes to see if you have any questions that you are dying to get the answer for, so that I can address them also. You can unmute or I'll keep checking the chat box also. Yeah, I'll give you 1 minute, couple of minutes to see if you want me to address any specific doubts, questions, etc. Please feel free to ask. If not, I'll start with whatever points I have noted here. How to identify the tone of a passage. Okay, sure. So I'll focus a bit on tone. I'm making my notes here so that I don't forget. I will focus a little bit on tone. Shiva Jyotsna, I'll do that. Okay. Yes. Any other questions like this? Because see, tone is not something which I would have specifically focused on. Now that you have asked me, I will. Similarly, any more questions? Okay. If you have any questions, please ask me as we go along. Okay. Let me start now. First, we start with a few general tips. Yeah. RC, as you know, reading comprehension is a very important component of Telangana ICET as well as AP ICET, right? You can expect about 15 questions out of the 40 questions in Telangana ICET and 20 questions out of the total of 55 questions in AP ICET. Now, since this exam does not have negative marking, it is important that you maximize your score in this exam. Unlike certain other exams where there are negative marks, there you can be a little more picky, right? But here, since you have no negative marks, it is important that you attempt as many questions as possible, and hence having a block against reading comprehension, feeling scared that reading comprehension is going to take a lot of time. You know, how will I answer this? Let me only answer the other questions. This kind of strategy may not really work. Okay. It is very important that you maximize or rather optimize your number of attempts. Hence, a section which has this kind of a weightage has to be given its due importance. Fine. Now, what is the structure of reading comprehension in ICET? Currently, we are getting passages with about 200 words in Telangana ICET and slightly longer passages in AP ICET. Okay, AP ICET earlier used to have very long passages actually. Passages of up to 500 to 600 words. But last couple of years, they have been giving shorter passages of about 250 to 300 words. Okay. Now for the question types, what kind of questions can you expect? The questions here are more or less direct. More or less direct. Now this more or less is a very tricky term. It's a subjective term. What I mean is, compared to certain other management exams like CAT, okay, the questions are not heavy on inference. However, compared to, let us say, a school level reading comprehension, the questions are not entirely direct either. Okay, you get it, right? So, you get questions when I say not entirely direct. For example, when you get a main idea question. Okay, a main idea question may be, what is the central idea of the passage? What is the suitable title for this passage? Okay, what is the author primarily what dash? These kind of questions require an overall understanding of the passage, right? These are not questions where you can go and pick the answer. It requires an overall understanding of the passage. To that extent, we can't say that these are very direct questions. Okay, purpose of the passage, absolutely. Thanks, Praful. Purpose of the passage, author's purpose, etc. Then you may get specific detailed questions. Just a second, guys. Please give me just a second. Yes, then you may get specific detailed questions which ask you when the author talks about a particular thing, what does he say? What is the author's opinion about something? Okay, a particular term or phrase from the passage. Or in the second para, what does the author say about this? Or just a direct question. Okay, those kind of things are called specific detailed passages. Then inference. Inference questions, even main idea question requires a little bit of inference. Then the questions are, what is the author's opinion about this? Or tone questions. Okay, these are all questions which require a little bit of inference. This is where I said, compared to an exam like CAT, the inferences are a little more straightforward. But compared to a very basic exam, like a school level exam, you do need some amount of inference here. Okay, then there may be tone-based questions and then, of course, vocabulary questions based on the passage. This is the broad scope. Now, a few tips before we start handling a passage. First things first, there is something which I have been referring to as the chicken or egg question in reading comprehension. Okay, you know, have you heard of something called the chicken or egg question? Normally in, not in reading comprehension, in philosophy, have you heard of the chicken or egg question? Yeah? Yes, okay. Very good, wonderful. So chicken or egg question is what? Basically a dilemma which has no answer, right? Yeah. What comes first, the chicken or the egg, is a question which does not have any answer. Now, the chicken or egg question in reading comprehension is, what should you read first, the passage or the question? Many students think it is a chicken or egg question, but I always tell my students that this is not a chicken or egg question. It has a conclusive answer. What is the answer? What should you read first? Can you tell me, guys? What should you read first? The passage? I mean, what should you do first? Should you look at the questions first or should you read the passage first? Can you tell me?
Questions, ma'am.
There. It is there on my screen. Huh? I should have asked you this before showing my screen. Now I realize I've already shown you my screen. Absolutely. You should always read the passage first because there is some amount of inference to be made. Okay? Yes. Passage first, questions afterwards, because even if the questions are somewhat direct, many questions will require a thorough understanding of the passage. Otherwise, the options may be close and you will lose your track. Okay? So it is always advisable that you run through the passage. You skim through the passage. I don't have my pen with me, it looks like, but let me see. Okay. Let me see if I can write. Okay. Okay. Terrible writing, but I can manage 4 letters. Here, I don't have my writing pad, but I can manage 1 word. Okay. So you skim through the passage. Fine. And then only you start you start answering the questions. Then when we say you read the passage first, the problem is Still better than doctors. Thank you very much for the compliment. Okay. When you say you need to read the passage first, the challenge is that you also have a time constraint, right? And in ICET, since there is no sectional time limit, it is all up to you to manage your time very well. Okay. So there is a time constraint. That is the challenge. So on the one hand, you have to read the whole passage. On the other hand, you have to manage your time well, because ultimately reading the passage is not going to give you any marks, right? You are going to get marks only for answering the questions. So your reading speed, what should your reading speed be? It should be at least 150 words per minute. At least. Okay. Then next point. Let me stop my annotation. Next point. Yes. Since there are no negative marks, you need to try and attempt as many questions as possible. It doesn't mean you should blindly attempt anything. You should still put in, you should remember, when we say there are no negative marks, sometimes students think, then we can blindly attempt. See, your aim is not to just avoid negative marks. In that case, you can get stuck with 0, right? Your aim is still to maximize your score. So, intelligent and educated guesses are welcome. Okay. Practice skimming. Now, practice skimming, we will see how we skim through a passage. That is one of the things I wanted to take up. Okay. So, practice skimming while focusing on the central idea and author's tone. Now, here, since a student had asked me, how do we identify the tone of a passage? Let me focus a little on that. Okay. Fine. When you skim through a passage, guys, you need to quickly read through the passage, not stopping and worrying about every little detail, but at the same time, focusing on those words that give you an insight into the author's perspective. Okay. Now, how do you identify these tones? These are these terms. These are terms or words which are not to do with details, but they express the author's opinion. They express what the problem is in the passage, or what are the important points in the passage. Important points are not always factual details. Okay, we will see that while skimming. Now, identifying the author's tone. See, first of all, from the words that the author uses, you can see whether the tone is positive or negative, right? Now, even if the author is saying something negative about somebody in the passage, overall, what is the author saying? Okay. So very often in tone questions, what the students do is they look at some critical remark that the author has made and they say, "Arey, this is a critical tone." Or they look at some word of praise that the author has expressed and they say, "Arey, this is an whatever, plausatory," or the author is expressing their appreciation, let us say, appreciative passage. But you need, tone is something that evolves throughout the passage. So you need to look at the flow of the passage and decide what is the primary tone of the author. Okay, my voice is breaking. Huh? Others also, is my voice breaking for everybody?
No, ma'am.
Kiranmai says my voice is breaking. Is it breaking for everybody? Can you please confirm? Okay. So then, Kiranmai, you will have to check your internet connection, please. Okay. Let me just write to her. Okay. You could hear me, right? Fine. Probably it is your connection because the others are able to hear me. Okay. Please, maybe you can just log in and log out quickly. So, yeah, this is about the tone of the author. Okay, there are actually several tones. Now, if we are to explain all the tones, it will take a very long time. But the first step is to identify whether it is a positive or negative tone. Also, what is the author trying to do? If he is presenting several facts or several perspectives and then comparing them, there he may be analytical. Or if he is using a structured approach to inform us or educate us about something, the tone may be informative or educational. Okay. On the other hand, if he is systematically criticizing somebody, then the tone may be critical. So you have to look at the overall passage. Yes, it could be neutral also. That is what I'm saying now, Praful. So educational, informative, all these are neutral with a positive intent, right? Critical and other versions of critical, these are negative tones. That's all. Okay. So this is what you need to see. Fine? Oh, fine. Yeah, you understood. Great. Now practice timed. So you need to increase your reading speed to 150 words per minute. Now, actually, guys, most of you may already be at a reading speed of, let us say, 100 words per minute. Okay, if you are in the habit of reading newspapers, etc., you may be already at a reading speed of 100 words per minute. Some of you may be at a reading speed of about 70 to 80 words per minute. Those of you, some of you here, I know, are excellent readers already. You may already have a reading speed of 200 words per minute. So you just need to check your reading speed once. Okay, take a newspaper editorial, set a stopwatch. First, do a word count, of course. Do a word count, set a stopwatch, and find out how many minutes you take to read the passage. If you divide the word count by the number of minutes, you will get your reading speed, right? If your reading speed is way less than 150 words per minute, then you need to do a little bit of timed reading practice daily. That is, you need to set the timer at a reading speed of, let us say, 150 words per minute. Okay? You need to set a timer. You need to do a word count, and you need to, there you go. Okay? You need to read the article in that set time. So if it is, let us say, a 400 word article, yeah, you should finish reading it in how many minutes? You do the calculation. Okay, 400 divided by 150. So set the timer. For somebody who is good in math can tell me. So set the timer for that time, 400 divided by 150, and finish reading the article in that time. Initially, you may feel, oh, I'm not able to finish. That doesn't matter. Keep looking at the timer and run through the article as fast as you can while making sure you comprehend the central idea. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Thank you, Praful. So set your timer and then do this exercise. Okay. After doing the exercise, see if you are able to sum up the article in one sentence. Just the central idea, are you able to write in one sentence? Also, are you able to identify the tone? Not all articles will have tone. That is why I'm saying newspaper editorials, because usually newspaper editorials will have a tone. Okay, critical or urging people to do something, exhortative, that is urging people to take action, urging the government to take action, etc. Or there may be indignation. Indignation is anger at some perceived injustice. All these tones will be there in newspaper editorials. So this exercise you can do. Am I making sense, guys? Is it clear what exercise I talked about now? Yes? Okay, okay. Okay, fine. If anybody has any doubts, please ask me, okay? I don't want this to be just one-way exercise. It's just that we had an unfortunate late start, so I don't want to not share anything with you. That's why I'm going a little faster than usual. And then in the questions, what you need to remember is inference is not equal to imagination, okay? When we are supposed to infer something, While an inference is not directly based on the passage, an inference answer cannot be pulled out of your head. If you're going to pull an answer out of your head, then if there are 1 lakh students writing an exam, there should be 1 lakh different options. But here it's a multiple choice exam, which means that you all need to agree or you need to base your answer strictly on the author's perspective. You draw the limits or let the author draw the limits for you. Think, what does the author want me to answer? Not what do I think is the answer. It is not a test of your intelligence, really. How smart am I? How creative can I get with my answer is not a point here at all. Your inference answer also should be strictly based on whatever is written in the passage. Okay, that is it in terms of tips. Now, any questions for me? Because then we are going to look at some practice passages and then that's it. So please ask me. The intro part is over. I'll give you a couple of minutes to ask me questions, if any. Yeah. Any questions on whatever I mentioned? If you have a different opinion, shouldn't it be like this? Or I think this is something that works better. Or I have heard something else. Anything, guys? Or like a student asked me about tones now. Anything at all? Please feel free. You can unmute or put it in the chat box. Okay, let me see. Student has said something. Weightage of RC in the VARC section. Weightage is this. Did you miss my first slide, Rahul? Here you go. Oh, I have to go back. 1 second. Weightage is this. Here you see the first point, okay? 15 out of 40 questions in TG ICET, Telangana. 20 out of 55 questions in AP. Okay, got it? Any other doubts to me? Doubts for me, I mean, sorry. Okay, that's it. Okay, then let's go here. I have a short and sweet passage for you. How do we, while reading the passage, guys, I'm also trying to show you how do we skim. Okay, shall I try and show you how to skim? Unfortunately, I don't have my pen tab to show you where to focus, but it's okay. Let us try and skim through this passage. You can see it is a short passage. Okay. Tourism is an invisible export. Why is it an invisible export? Try and find your answer to the C. When you start reading a passage, when you see a statement like this, it is an invisible export, you should be able to immediately ask yourself, what does it mean? And find the answer before proceeding. It is not details that you should focus on, but ideas like this. Invisible export. Are you getting the idea, guys? Yeah? We are selling something and we are getting the money, but it is not a physical exchange that is happening there. So that is why they are calling it an invisible export, right? It is sadly mistaken for luxury by most governments. Now tell me, in this sentence, it is sadly mistaken for luxury by most governments. What are the important words? Can you guys tell me? What are the important words in this sentence? The very important words in this sentence. Sadly, very good, Profil, excellent. Sadly, then sadly shows the author's opinion here. By most, okay. Date. Where is the date, Hari? I'm asking in the sentence, it is sadly mistaken for luxury by most governments. What are the important words? I'm just showing you skimming. Okay. Count. I didn't understand. I'm talking about just that one sentence, Hari. Also, please note, I think you're talking about 250 million people and 1 out of every 9 workers later on. Hari, are you talking about that? And 11th September 2001. Okay, you were talking about those details. I would say these are the details that are not important. When you read a passage initially, okay, good, you told me this, you mentioned this, Hari, because these are exactly the things you don't need to focus on when you read a passage initially. When you are asked a question, is it 250 million people or 300 million people, you can always go and check. You just need to know that the employment figures are in the first para. Do not spend too much time on these kind of details. Are you getting me? Hari, did you get me? Yeah? Okay. So in that one sentence, okay, the most important terms are sadly, luxury, and governments. So many governments think it is a luxury, which means what? They only focus on luxury segment of tourism. Okay. There is a lack of understanding of the power of tourism. Incidents of 11th September. Okay. 11th September, 9/11, we all know, right? So we don't need to focus too much on that. The incidents of, we know what happened in the US. Drove home to most nations means made most nations understand the fact that economy is tied to travel and tourism. How the economy was affected by those incidents revealed the value of these sectors. Tourism is the world's largest generator of jobs. See how I'm skimming, okay? Also happens to be no need to read like that. Tourism is the world's largest generator of jobs. So obviously you have to focus on that. It goes without saying. Direct and indirect employment, 250 million people, 1 out of every 9 workers. Okay. 1 by 9 and 250. You don't need to remember these numbers, but direct and indirect employment figures are given in the first para. Problem of tourism is that, however, so when the passage talks about the benefits of tourism and then goes on to however, we know what however is a transition word. It is a tone changer. I am still tempted to go back to my little pen here because, see, however, is a tone changer. It is a transition word. You have to focus on that, okay? The problem of tourism is that it is invisible as an industry. They have said that in the beginning. It is invisible by there are no goods here. There are no actual, the services are also sort of hidden, right? And also young. It is a young industry, and that is why it is barely understood. So here you have the reason why the author thinks that we do not know much about the tourism industry. So this sentence is important. Yes, Praful, you're absolutely right. Here from this, however, the author does seem concerned. That is what Praful has just told us. And he is absolutely right. Okay. Now, yeah. The number of tourists worldwide grew from 500 million in 92 to this much in 2002. But, okay, worldwide it grew, but, okay, India's share of world tourist traffic is only 0.38% during the last decade or so, despite its rich cultural heritage, etc. Time to project India's hidden potential. Fine. Read on, okay? Tourism is growing in India. It is still very, very small. What is small? India's share of world tourist traffic is very, very small. So we have a lot of potential. Main value of tourism at heritage sites lies in that, okay, introduction to historical and cultural background, which people might never approach otherwise, okay. So heritage sites the main benefit is it exposes foreigners to the culture and history of the place, and they may not have focused on it otherwise. Okay. Keeping in view our aim of sustainable tourism, we have to protect, preserve, conserve, restore, okay, heritage, sustainable tourism, tourism that is environmentally friendly, that is sustainable in the long run. For a long time, we have taken our tangible historical heritage for granted. Tangible, the physical heritage for granted, little realizing that without proper care, these treasures are in the danger of being lost to us and to the world. Okay? Here again, like Praful said, the author is expressing their concern and a little bit of criticism also of our negligence. Right? Fine. It is indirectly a little bit of criticism also of our negligence, not caring enough to take, not caring enough for our heritage sites. Okay? Not happy at all. Absolutely, Praful. It also in the previous passage, previous para, the author does focus on the potential. Okay, the author is aware of our immense potential in the field of tourism. So the author is expressing concern that we are not doing enough. Fine. Any doubts here? All of you, easy passage, right? This is the usual level of ICET passages. Okay. The problem of tourism is that, come on guys, what is the problem of tourism? Is it labor intensive, invisible industry, degrades the environment, drain on foreign exchange? What is the answer, all of you? Problem. Problem of tourism is a direct question here. Okay. So the answer is yes. Everybody got it. It is an invisible industry. There you go. Once you get a hang of what lies where, it is very easy. Also, in an exam, like I said, some of the questions are memory based, okay? Unlike in certain other exams, which are purely inference based, here some of the questions are direct and memory based. Okay. Incident of 11th September 2001 made nations realize the importance of, very easy, very, very easy. Okay. Tourism. Yes, absolutely sorry. Okay. Now, with respect to our historical heritage, what did we fail to realize? What did we fail to realize? Here. Little realizing that without proper care and preservation, these treasures are in the danger of being lost to us and to the world. So what is the answer, guys? Don't base your answer on what you think may be the answer. Go and check if you feel the question is even slightly indirect. Okay? So now tell me, what is it that we have not realized? That they are treasures in need of care and protection, right? All of you got that answer? Not that they can be tourist attractions, that we already know. See here, keeping in the main value of tourism at heritage sites lies in that blah, blah, blah. That we already know. And for a long time, we have taken our tangible historical heritage for granted, which means that we have always thought, it is there now. It is always there. So we were aware of its role in tourism, but we were taking it for granted, means we were not giving it enough value or we were not caring for it enough. Okay. So the problem is that we didn't know without proper care and preservation, these treasures are in the danger of being lost. So the answer is option 3. Guys, this is why I'm saying just go there and check if you are not sure. Okay. Unless it is a very direct memory-based question, it is always a safe option to go there and check. Okay. According to the author, tourism at heritage sites introduces people. Come on, very easy. Introduces people. Option. Yes, all of you got it. To the historical and cultural background of the place, not for, they are asking what does it introduce people to, not the local people, but people of other countries, the tourists. Very good. So the answer is 1. According to the author, between 92 and 2002, the number of tourists worldwide, not in India, worldwide, and in India also, but yes. What happened? Worldwide, come on. Increased, absolutely, right? Increased. They have definitely written there that the number has increased from 500 to 700 million. There you go, finished. Okay, so we can do one more short passage, but any questions in the meanwhile, guys? Please feel free to ask if you have any questions. I'll look at the chat box. Give me 1 second and then we will proceed with the next passage. Okay. In the meanwhile, please put questions if you have any. Okay. More or less in exam, the passage will be like this and Praful has given the answer more or less the same level. Yes, this is the typical ICET level of passage. Okay, Alina? Do you find it easy or, yeah, you're fine with this? How do you find this level? Is it okay, manageable, Alina, since you asked the question? This is the average level that you can expect. Nice. Manageable. Very good. Okay. Excellent. So let us do one more. Okay. Small passage, but here a little different type of passage, slightly more abstract. Okay. Way easier than PO. Oh, yeah. Yes, Praful, I know you have sat through my bank PO reading comprehension sessions too. So way easier, right? Absolutely. ICET, yes, the questions are also more direct, okay? ICET is not a very tough exam if you prepare, guys. Believe me, it is an exam all of you can crack if you are familiar with the question types and if you've done some amount of practice with grammar, vocabulary, a little bit of focused reading practice, that is all it takes. Let's quickly look at this passage also, okay? When you begin with the end in mind, you give a different perspective. What are you talking about? When you begin with the end in mind, when you're focused on the end means the goal, okay? The goal, written exam or digital exam, it's an online exam, right? When you're focused on the end result, you give a different perspective. It says Stephen R. Covey in his The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You may have heard of this book. It's a very famous self-help book. If your end is to gain a job through a walk-in interview, there are some effective ways by which you can achieve it. Okay. So you must focus on the goal. Okay. Sorry. Integrity, good communication. Integrity is being true to oneself, honest to oneself. Okay. Good communication, skill and intelligence are the key attributes. This you can mark You don't need to memorize. Many students ask me, how do we memorize? Don't memorize anything. First para has the qualities that interviewers are looking for. If you have an excellent memory, it is okay. Otherwise, just know I need to go back to the first para. If they ask which of the following is not a quality mentioned in the passage, just go back to the first para. Do not think that revisiting the passage again and again will steal your time away, guys. Okay? When in doubt, revisiting is better than blindly guessing, because ultimately you need the marks also, right? Marks are what, not also, but you need only the marks. Okay? So just answering is not enough. You need to get the marks. Yeah? Making a good impression on the interviewer is the first part of the interview. A person is assessed from the moment he walks in. Primarily, the candidate has to select appropriate dress, not fashionably, but decently. Finished. First para over. What did we say here? Focus on the goal. In an interview, walk-in interview, there are certain attributes that can get you the job. First impression is important. Dress decently, appropriately. See? Okay. Carelessness in the way of dressing may suggest little respect. Okay. Carelessness shows lack of respect. He should be courteous, means polite. Arrive on time, punctual. Say thank you and please whenever necessary. At the same time, he should not be overly enthusiastic or over anxious to please the interviewer. Okay. So, dress properly, be punctual, have your manners. Don't try excessively to please. Doing a little bit of homework helps in an interview, means a bit of background research and preparation. While applying for a job, it's good to find out as much as he can about the organization. It shows initiative. Yes, in most interviews they ask, right? What do you know about our organization? Who was the founder? When was it established? What are our values? It gives more depth to his answers. He as in the candidate, should be careful not to bluff. Bluff means what? White lies, just making up your answer and thinking you can fool the interviewer. Lies are usually quickly found out. Regarding personal details also, it is better to admit any previous failure in exams or previous jobs. Acknowledging mistakes can show a person's strength of character. Okay, fine. So again, focus on the goal. In an interview, there are certain key attributes mentioned in the first para. Making a good impression is important. First impression, dress appropriately, have your manners in place, reach on time, prepare well, don't be overly enthusiastic. Then what else? Yeah, do your homework and preparation. Know about the organization. Do not bluff or lie. Be brave enough to admit your previous failures or any problems. Finished. Because it shows your strength of character. Okay? Fine. Dash in dress etiquette may indicate that the interviewee has little respect for the interviewer. Here. Carelessness in the way of dressing. We need a synonym for carelessness. So it has to be a negative word. Which is the word here? Yes. Praful has given the answer. Hari also has given. Hari? Careful, careful. What does it show? What is the question? Dash in dress etiquette may indicate that the interviewee has little respect. Little respect is positive or negative, Hari? Little respect means what? No respect. Okay? That is why you got it wrong. I understood, Hari. You thought it was positive. Little respect versus a little respect. See? One little article A there makes a lot of difference. Little respect means no respect. Okay? So it is negative. If there is A here, sorry, this pen is terrible. A little respect means, yes, some respect. Again, not completely positive here because you need to have a lot of respect for your interviewer. So, A little respect would say some respect. Little respect means, like Praful said, no respect. Okay. So here it says, see, Hari, if you are not sure what it means, just look at the sentence. Carelessness in the way of dressing may suggest. So carelessness, is it a positive or negative word? All of us know. In an interview, is carelessness positive or negative? It is negative. So can a negative thing suggest respect? You just need to ask yourself that. Okay? Got it? Hari? You just need to ask yourself, can a negative thing show respect? It cannot. So then it means that carelessness in the way of dressing shows that you have no respect for the interviewer. Okay. So we need a negative word here. Sloppiness means carelessness, shabbiness, etc. Being untidy, shabby, disheveled, etc. So sloppiness is the word here. All the other three words are positive. Meticulousness is what you should have in your dressing. Meticulousness is careful, attention to detail. Yes, absolutely, Praful. Tidiness, neatness. Punctiliousness is punctuality. You need punctiliousness, but not in your dress etiquette. You need punctiliousness as a candidate. Okay. So sloppiness is the answer. Hari, are you getting it? Did you get the answer? Yeah. Did you understand? Because you picked a different option. I just want to confirm. Okay, fine. So now you understood how to get the answer based on the tone of a particular sentence, right? Yeah. Positive or negative. You just need to think a little. According to the passage, an interviewer may get a good impression of a person's character. Character. What gives the interviewer an idea of the character? Yes. Here. Acknowledging mistakes can show a person's strength of character. The other factors are mentioned, not fashionably, but coming to the interview on time, yes. Speaking about the organization he has applied for, yes, these are all important, but they are not related to character. Acknowledging mistakes is related to character. Okay. A candidate who has dash will be well informed about the company. It is very directly mentioned here. It shows initiative. It can give more depth to his answers. What is the answer then? A candidate who has initiative, right? Initiative, not generosity or being large-hearted, not extravagance or spending a lot, not thriftiness or frugality, spending little. Okay. The essential qualities that the interviewers are looking for in an applicant are here you go. Integrity, good communication skill, and intelligence. Hence, all of the above. Very easy. Very, very easy question. These are the kind of questions you get in the exam also, okay? Don't worry too much. Which word in the passage means recognizing? Recognizing synonym? Here. Acknowledging the mistakes. Acknowledging means admitting or recognizing. Okay. So there you go. That's a vocabulary based question. Finished. Yeah. I think that should be enough for now. We have done 2 passages. We have discussed certain basic tips. And once again, sorry for that initial whatever fiasco. Yeah. Any questions for me, guys, now? This should be enough, right? I've shown you how to skim. I've shown you which what to focus on, what not to focus on, etc. Questions are easy once you get the basic strategy of reading and focusing. Okay? Yeah. Now you tell me any questions? Was I not sharing my screen? I hope I was sharing my screen. I am trying to stop. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Any questions for me? One para jumble. I don't have para jumble here. You saw the topic now? Topic is reading comprehension. Where will I get para jumble questions suddenly? Praful. That you have to come for para jumble workshop. Okay. I don't have any para jumble questions with me now. Actually, you are very fond of this question type, Praful. What you discussed from 8 o'clock to 8:45. Actually, workshop started a little late because of technical issues. When did we start? Around 8:15. What we discussed, Alina, we discussed some basic strategies. Okay. You missed that part, the basic tips and strategies. And then we started with the passage. I cannot go over that all over again, unfortunately. Okay. But let me see if I can share my screen. Alina, 1 second. I will try and share my screen again. If you want to take a look at this 2 slides, there were only 2 slides that I can share with you. In the meanwhile, any more questions? Can you see my slide, Alina? This was the first slide. You can take a quick screenshot, okay? I cannot go through this all over again. You can take a quick shot of the screen. I mean, not screenshot, but a picture. Are you there? This is for you, okay, Alina? Any other questions for me? Yeah, and this is the first slide. Have you got this? Now this is the second slide. This is it. Okay, you can take a pic. That's it. Fine. Okay. Okay. Are we done? Any doubts for me? Any questions? I hope this has given you a little reassurance about ICET reading comprehension. More about online exam. What would you like to know, Alina? That is generally about ICET. You will just have multiple choice questions and you will need to click on the appropriate bubble or box. That is it. Okay. On computer, I'm not an expert on anything related to that. You will have to do some practice tests. Okay. This is strictly about reading comprehension, but believe me, an online test there is nothing complicated at all. You'll be given a system and you will have to, you just take a mock test now. Take any mock test. If you are our student, you can take our mock test or get a mock test from anywhere. I'm sure you have done a lot of online things, right? So you just need to click on the right bubble there. That is it. But do take a mock test before doing the actual exam if you have any concerns. Okay. Fine. All the best, guys. Do not be scared of reading comprehension. You have seen it is very straightforward, very easy, as long as you take some time to read the passage first. Okay. 8th question you're asking me, Shraddha. Let me see. Which question? This one or 8th one? 8th one. Okay, here you go. A candidate who has initiative. Easy question. Easy question. Yes, Praful, thanks for that motivation for all the students. Students, Alina, see what he has written. Even visually impaired students attend these exams. Absolutely. It's very easy. Just take one mock test and you will be able to figure it out. Okay. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. And thanks for your patience.